Only no gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
What?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, well, you know when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because
Oh, here we go. Ready?
what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you,
Yeah. What is
and
he?
well, he likes women.
Okay, so this bubble is actually one I'm not very deeply aware of or informed about. So you guys are gonna have to help me with this. But I think it's Nene Leakes and T.S. Madison. Apparently, it's the I think Real Housewives of Atlanta ? Mixed in with like celebrity content creators. They're both pretty famous. They've got like 1 million to 5 million followers on social media. So we're dealing with like celebrity people. It's not really the bubble I'm used to, but I saw this TikTok, found the Real podcast, and I want to talk about it. Really profound conversation about gender and trans and identity and dating men who've dated trans women. It's like, it was a pretty controversial clip. And I just want to, deconstruct it with you guys and have a conversation about it.
I make my own money. I do my own
Well, let me
thing.
ask you, you know, when people use, I'm asking because I honestly do not know. 'Cause some people feel some kind of way, some people don't. When people use gay slurs, do they bother you? Like, I mean, some people they bother, and some people be like, I don't care.
Here's the thing. Something you said the last time you and I spoke. You said, Madison, I've been doing TV and I've been in the media
A lot.
a couple decades now. Ain't shit nobody can say that can hurt my feelings. I'm Nene Leakes.
Right. I'm kind of numb to it.
Yeah,
Like,
you said
yeah.
that. And for a moment, it made me step back and say, I'm T.S. Madison.
Right.
Currently, my voice is on tour with Beyonce right now.
Right.
I'm collecting mechanical royalties because I
Right.
said I'm dark brown, dark skin, light skin, beige, fluorescent beige. I'm black. I was collecting mechanical royalties on the Renaissance tour. I'm collecting mechanical royalties on the Cowboy Carter tour.
Okay.
So there's so much going on. I got television shows that I'm producing coming down the line. I have philanthropy work that I'm doing. It's too much stuff. So somebody calling me a fat, a dude, a man in a wig, a boy, a fat, this and the other. There was a time that I would sit in there and be like this, but then I'm looking at who's saying it.
Yeah, and then you also should kind of own it.
Yeah, I do.
You know what I'm saying? When people say certain things, you know, Nene, whatever. Well, like you said, you make a T-shirt out of it.
Yeah,
Own it. Just go ahead, own it.
Yes.
Well, I can be fat and beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, just own it.
Because I know we was on Fat Talk, because I want to address this while I'm here. We were on Fat Talk, and we were talking about, how beautiful you are and how you've gotten
Yeah, you called me a trainee.
I did. I said trainee. There's a difference.
What's a trainee?
Well, I'm a trainee.
Okay.
So I said you were giving trainee. When you give trainee, bitch,
You're giving it. Okay.
you're giving it.
Okay, put me up on game.
Bitch, I'm talking about.
Okay, so there was a controversy where TS said, some people were saying it was trainee. Everyone was like talking about it. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is this bubble does have a bit of transphobia, homophobia attached to the bubble. And there's a lot of controversy about how people have deconstructed. And I just want to give us an opportunity to like see this as like more queer adjacent queer people. Like, remember that there are trans people that are not queer and there are gay people that are not queer. And I mean queer politically. So we're deconstructing gender, we're deconstructing the political world, we're deconstructing. And so I'm not sure where they are, but I want to listen to their journey with like an open mind and listen to how they talk to other people about it. But I will say that the reason she said that is because Nene had gotten surgery done. And so some people were feeling like she's implying, and then what's worse is the transphobia came out, where I watched some Black content creators, and I understand like transphobia, homophobia still needs to be deconstructed in a lot of like, cultures around the world. I get it. Okay. They were saying that how can and forgive me, a boy in a wig call a woman in a wig a boy in a wig? So transphobia, right? Like you're upset that a trans woman called a cis woman a trainee or a tranny or whatever word you thought you heard. And so their reaction was to call T.S. Madison like a boy in a wig. And I'm like, oh, see, why do you got to do that? Like, why do you have to do that? Like, why do you have to go to the transphobia? Because you're upset. So there's a lot that like infighting that I thought was kind of interesting. And that's what brought me sort of to have this conversation with you guys today. This is Michelle.
Explains why he thinks Nene Leakes looks
So then they're already misgendering, which is like not very nice.
transgender. What? How would a man in a wig say that a woman looks like a man in a wig? What
So, okay, transphobia, right? Thank you. Okay, not good. Don't like it. Not good energy.
Lash.
But you know,
They're
I
scared
didn't
of the-
even care. I don't really
No,
care.
but we were not.
Because people be caring when
But no,
other
Nene,
people
this is the
don't
thing.
care.
I wanted to make sure I talked about this with you.
Make
We
me
were not.
Chad said last time I saw TS, she was being transphobic to the to a trans girl, sorry, trans girly that wanted bottom surgery. Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm not sure how much TS has deconstructed gender and transphobia and all of the other things, right? So we're walking into a very different bubble than the bubble we're used to as like queer trans people. Like my queer trans safe bubble here on the internet is very different than this bubble, and I don't find this bubble to be that safe. And I feel like they're just at the beginning stages of deconstruction. Like I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the bubble that is just like they're just starting. Like they're just starting to say, like, maybe we shouldn't call people F words. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. And I understand in queer bubbles, we do use the F slur. Some people feel like it's reclaimed. That's okay if other gay people feel that way. But even TS using the F word is very interesting. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so keep that all in mind.
Not calling you a man.
Right,
Because
okay.
you are all woman.
Right,
You're
right.
Amazon woman.
Yeah.
So we were not calling you a man. We were saying how beat you are.
Yeah.
We were saying this is beat.
Right.
That bitch is in her lash. She's in her shoe.
Right.
That bitch is in her
Yes,
hair.
because she been in her lash and shoe. I'm gonna
That
use that
bitch-
from now
that
on. Being in
bitch
my
is
lash
big.
and being in my shoe.
She's in-
I'm gonna be from now on using it. I'm in my lash
She's
and
in
I'm
her
in my
lash.
shoe.
She's in her shoe.
Yes.
She's sitting up under that mug.
Thank you.
Bitch,
I'm
she-
in my wig,
Up under that
in my
hat.
lash, and in my shoe. I got
She is sitting up under that mug. That's what we were saying.
There you go.
The people were so busy because they try to say like we girls that are trans
Yeah.
are like we're men. Okay, we were born male.
Right.
Yes, we were born male.
Right.
But when you giving trainee,
You're
it's,
giving.
you're giving.
Right, you're giving.
You're
I got
giving.
it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
You're giving,
Okay,
honey.
I got it.
When you was walking down that
so
street,
this is what I
honey-
need for you to understand. I don't want you to let people say things and it bother you. I would be really. I know you're human, so am I.
Yes.
I'm really surprised that you feel some kind of way sometimes.
I did at first because it's just like people
But
don't.
this goes back to me telling you, TS, and some of the people I've told. This goes back to your strong friends. People be thinking because we're so strong that we don't feel some kind of way sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
And sometimes you do. You be like, I have feelings too.
Well, especially
And I think this is a really important conversation to be having, because as a girl myself, who's a man, you know, as a girl who's like in a very specific category of being a girl and whatever that means, like people do think it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Like they think it doesn't hurt, or they feel like, oh, like you're tough, you can handle it. Yeah, just because people can handle it doesn't mean it doesn't wear you down.
when there are people out there that are hell bent on perpetrating or telling a false
Yeah,
narrative
about you.
It's just like
Yeah.
when they hell bent, like people were trying to spin my words on
Yeah.
you, saying that you're a
I
ma'am,
never
you
care.
are a woman.
I never care.
Ma'am, you are a female.
Please understand, I never
got it,
care.
Nene, but I'm here
I just said we got to ask
I'm
TS
here
so she can
clearing
tell
this
us
in
what
your-
this means. But I really don't
But
care.
I'm here in your face clearly
Yeah.
up telling you. You've been walking. We've been seeing.
Yeah.
We've been seeing your illusions. We've been
Yeah,
seeing your.
come for the
we've been
illusion,
seeing
honey.
you
I'm
give-
here to give
We've been
the-
seeing those shoes.
I'm giving you the illusion. I'm
We've
in
been
my
seeing-
wig
You've
and
been
I'm in
sitting
my
up under
shoe.
that lash. She's been
Yes,
sitting up
under my
that
lash. I'm
hair.
gonna be saying that
She's
from
been
now
sitting up
on.
under that shoe.
I'm saying that when I leave
She's been
here.
sitting up under that mug, and it was giving the grand.
I'm posting a picture today and I'm going to say sitting up under my lash.
But that's what it was. And you know, there were so many people that was like trying to spin it online. It was like, girl,
Yeah.
y'all stop this. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop it. Like,
But when you do your show, when you do your podcast, you should say whatever you want to say.
I do.
You should.
I do.
And however you want to say it, because these people are saying whatever they want to say, right?
yeah.
And they're spinning the narrative however they choose to spin it. So you should say whatever. I got to ask you to go back to the girl you was working with before,
Kaya.
Kaya. Do you respond to everything?
And by the way, earlier, because I see comments, right? Like when I said, oh, it's interesting that she's using the F slur here, I'm mostly here. Not that gay people in queer circles of all kinds aren't using the F slur amongst our people, but using it with people that aren't like in the know. It's like with any slur, any word that comes from like a very heated background. It's like who you say it around, or who you're comfortable saying it to, or them saying it to you. It's just like, it's interesting, like who people give permission to say words. And again, it's all a construct. It's not objective. I understand all that. It's just interesting. Like, is this a safe, like I've definitely gotten a little bit more like, you know, when people tell a joke and you don't know if they're telling a joke because they think it's true, or if they're telling a joke just because it's like funny and they thought about it. That's what I meant by that comment, right? I'm not here to like police people's language. I don't, you know, it's not really my vibe, but I would say that I raise an eyebrow at like, oh, who are we inviting into? And since they're squashing a beef, right? Since you're squashing a beef, there's that element of this conversation as well.
Not everything. I only responded to that. And it wasn't because she, and here, so that the record can be clear. It wasn't because she was calling me a man. It wasn't because she was saying, Mr. Sir, boy in a wig. It wasn't because of that. Because that doesn't faze me.
Right.
It was because she told a lie and said that I
Tried
couldn't
to stop her
touch her
bag.
money.
Okay,
First of all,
okay.
she's a black woman in America. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck what me and that hoe going through.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
She's a black woman in America. If she got to eat her chitlins and her motherfucking lemon pepper wings, I ain't trying to stop that. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even when we split up, I didn't read that bitch until she started talking about my mama.
Okay.
And yes, for those out there in the comments that's gonna be talking about I wore her grandkids out, bitch, stay off of my mama.
Right.
My mama is my backbone. My mama is my rock. If nobody else in this world fuck with me, Miss Mary fucks with me.
Right.
And so because Miss Mary fucks with me, she know that's the only thing that really draws me to a dark place. And she always hit my mama up. My mama in the chair. Bitch, my mama may be in a wheelchair. But bitch, she is in a luxury wheelchair. Maybe
Right.
we need to let you borrow it so we can put it up under your grandbaby's eye and it'll drive right back to this one so they can be even the next time that they looking at you, bitch.
Not.
The next time, borrow my mama's expensive wheelchair to drive your grandbaby's eye back in its place, in its proper place, so that they can look at you when they saying, Grandma. That's my thing. Stay off of my mama. Stay off her, cause my mama has never tore her up. My mama ain't never said no ill shit about her. You know what I'm saying? Whatever pressure me and her got, that we.
I don't know who that's in reference to. I don't even know who she's making fun of. I don't even know who she's referencing. Is she talking about a kid? I don't even know what's happening right now. But this is definitely not my bubble. So it's interesting being a guest in this bubble. I feel like I'm a fly in the wall, like, oh, I don't know who she's talking about. Hopefully not a child, but it sounds like a child. You know what I mean? Just as I know you laughing, Brittany, listen to me. It's not that hard to make me laugh. First of all, I laugh when I'm awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm uncomfortable, I'm laughing. So it's not a lot to make Brittany laugh, but I mean, I am tickled. I am indeed tickled at the formulation of that insult. I am tickled.
We got that.
Yeah.
Every time she hit my mama, I'm hitting her grandkids.
Ooh.
Every time she hit my mama.
Ooh, yeah. Do you mean grandkids as in children or grandkids as in babinos? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how classy we're dealing with here. It feels a little bit like, are we making fun of kids? Like, you can't punch down on babies, bro. So when she says, like, I'm going for the grandkids, do you mean children? You can't be an adult who's beating up children, bro. That's not grown up. So I don't know if she means like grandkids that are grown, but like, yeah, you can't come for the kids, bro. Shit, no, chat's like, no, real grandkids. No, you can't come for children, bro. That's not in any capacity. No, we're not doing that. Not cool, not kosher, exactly, chat. Not kosher, not good for our skin. It's not good for our skin. We cannot make fun of children. You cannot bring children into adult fights. So absolutely not.
But for real though, but
hitting her-
on the real
I'm
deal.
hitting her door.
Yeah.
Every time she hit my mama, because I ain't even got on her son.
Wait now.
I ain't even dug deep. Look.
No, Nene, tell her no.
I ain't even dug. But it's just, we don't, go do your thing in life. And listen, I know I hit that bitch so hard because that bitch ain't called me in 10 years.
She called you?
That bitch called my phone. We ran down the street. My phone ain't ring from her. She left that house and blocked me. That bitch ain't called me in 10 years. She picked up her phone to read because I was pouring tea. I told her about that vitamin water that she lost money with that nigga
the vitamin water.
that she was laying up with, honey, that was in love with Kevin Gates. They got Kevin Gates' name tattooed on the side of his neck and laid back down in the bed with her and spun up all her
Not
money
lay
over
back
there.
down in the bed.
And so we need to talk about the real reason why she don't like punks. But that's another story. My thing is, say what you want to say about me on stage. Get your bag. But bitch, don't tell these people I try to stop no money from you. I believe in the law of reciprocity. What would it gain for me to try to stop you from working? That ain't gonna do nothing but fall back on me.
But here's the deal, though, for real. You will not really respond to everything.
No, I
You
don't-
just responded to that because of the money situation.
Yes, because it's
Otherwise,
like,
you would never respond.
She could have called me 60 men. She gonna get after this. She gonna get on there and call me 60 men, big dick nigga. She gonna say all that.
Big dick?
Yeah, because
Oh.
that is true. I am a big dick bitch.
During my research for this stream, I did look up pictures of T.S. Madison because I needed pictures for my thumbnail. I can confirm that that is true. I was not aware that they did nude work. I was not aware that they were an SW. I was not aware that I would see those photos, but I did see the photos, and we love an SW We love an artist. We love a person who loves their body. We love a queen. Okay. Like, no judgment.
I
But-
live for you
yeah,
be a bitch with a big dick.
That is true. But she can say all of that. But
Uh-huh.
lady, don't sit up here. And it wasn't even her. It was the people that knew I didn't contact them.
Right.
It was the people that knew that I didn't call
But they
them.
couldn't stand up and get in that.
Yes, they could have said, or
Why?
they could have released a statement and said, hey, y'all.
But why?
Well, it's because
What if they felt like you? Like, I just want to be out of it. I don't want to be involved in it. What if they want to just be
they're
out?
in it because she's saying that I blocked her back. So they're in it.
Yeah,
so
but
what they're
Remember how I said adulthood is just high school with money? High school with money. Now, the conversation towards the end of this, okay, we're going to watch. It's really interesting. So I really hope you guys stick around for this that segment. But already we're building up to something so interesting. We're jumping into a different bubble, different rules, different language, different expectations. And I feel like I'm learning so much, but also I'm learning like, oh, yeah, this is not my ecosystem. This isn't where I understand things as much. But also it's interesting watching like where people are on their deconstruction journey, even having that conversation that like, oh, I'm a woman with a big dick. Look, same, except, you know, mine's a strap on. But like, you know, it's not to be judged. It's to be explored. It's to see the nuance in that experience. It's to say like both things can be true at the same time. It's to say that you know, your body doesn't tell you what experience you're having in the world. It's to say so many things, right? It's to express so many different things. So I think I appreciate the candidness of it all, as long as it's not being used to devalue her relationship with gender. As long as people aren't using it, and I know this is a difficult part for SWs who are also trans, is playing into that chick with a dick, you know, genre, which can be very disheartening and scary because a lot of trans women are devalued. Like there's no dignity in the way that people interact with them because there's this idea that like if you have a dick, you're still a man. And I want to, you know, I think that can be really sad. But I want to make sure that we're understanding that no matter how your body shows up in the world, like your internal relationship is like what I think is important here. Okay.
saying is,
But I don't want to just get involved in this, you
but
know?
Nene,
because
listen, if somebody that you don't work with, because I've worked with these people before.
Yeah.
If someone you've worked with has your number, knows your team, knows who's calling.
Well,
from
did
your
you
team-
reach out to them?
No. Why?
Because you said you wanted them to say something.
Well, I posted. Like, why you niggas ain't up here
Saying something.
Saying something. I
Because
don't give a
you
fuck
know-
what this ragged
right.
ass tired motherfucking nappy neck
Right.
ass bitch saying. I don't give a fuck what she's saying. Why you niggas not up here saying
Right. This
that
is not true.
T.S. Madison didn't
Right.
contact us.
Right.
Because then you start putting a narrative out. Nene, what if somebody say, oh, well, you left here and this is like, because they know you got power behind the scenes.
Right.
They know this. Nene Leakes called and said that.
And
you got to deal with this everywhere you go.
I get it.
You know.
Yeah.
And
they could at
people
least stood up
and
for
say,
you.
no, that's not true.
Right. Because you don't want to go to the next appearance where people are now feeling like TS stops money.
Yeah.
You know, she stops your opportunity, you know, when you're going to the next
I
place.
don't give a fuck about nothing right
yeah.
is doing. Bitch, get money, bitch. In
Right.
the words of that ragged asshole, get money, bitch.
Right.
Get
right.
money.
I get it. I get it.
But
I
don't be
get it.
sitting up here telling these lies and shit like that.
But-
we both have a fan base, Nene.
Yeah.
That do vile shit. You know when your
Yeah.
fans crazy, your
Yeah.
fans because
Uh-oh.
all
Yeah.
her fans be reporting my
Yeah.
pages, my fans be reporting her shit. So we can't help it. We're two entities.
Yeah.
So your fans, you got crazy fan bases that do shit like
Oh, you know who she should talk to? Ethan Klein. You want to talk about fan bases? You know what I'm saying?
that. So I don't tell them to do that.
Will you move on from it?
I've been moved on. Is that hoe? She got on stage and wasted. Do your song, hoe. Don't
But you
talk
gonna
about
move
me.
on. Move on.
I got a whole day in DC.
Yeah.
You got chitlins. Do your song.
So move on from it.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's best to move on from it.
So since we're talking about moving on.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something since we were talking about moving on. I wanted you to tell us about the Outlaws podcast.
Yes, the Outlaws podcast is a podcast I've got to deal with.
Actually, great point. Chet says, "Girl, when you go after people's kids, no shit, your audience is gonna be unhinged." Yeah, like that's the thing. Is like, you know, and I kind of feel that way, that a minority of your audience doesn't represent you, but a majority kind of does. And if you cause a storm, like when Ethan makes a video and his audience bombards people and they have to take down videos, or Think Before You Sleep makes a video and they're, you know, that person's whoever they made the video about, their comment section is just like swarmed. Or when you talk about Manifestel and the comment section is swarmed, it's like, hey, that doesn't feel like a minority of your audience. You know, 10 comments, 10, 20 comments, fine. 100, 200 comments, 300, 400 comments. damn, that's wild. That's crazy. You know, it's one thing to have a few people come in. It's another thing to have like hundreds of people show up. You know, you notice that. You will notice hundreds of people showing up, right? So yeah, I think there's like a standard content creators have to set. And like she's not a small content creator. She really does have a standing in the world. And so yeah, you have to be considerate, I think. But I wonder if celebrities, and I don't know because I'm not a celebrity, I don't know if celebrity people have a different relationship being content creators than content creators. Like, I feel like, I wonder if celebrity people, like as a content creator, I always think of myself as a small person on a big internet. But I wonder if as a celebrity, you think of yourself as a big person in a bigger bubble. Oh, Chet says, I mean, T.S. Madison is constantly unhinged online. Ooh, I don't know anything about her. So I'm learning everything basically because this clip showed up on my TikTok feed. So I actually don't know anything about her. So you're gonna have to educate me in the chat because I'm learning from this basically. Oh, hello. Okay.
iHeart, and I got a really.
You got to deal with iHeart.
Oh yeah, I got a really
That's
major
really
deal with
nice.
iHeart. Yes.
Yeah.
So who has time to stop chitlins?
Oh, Chet says every time I see TS, she's on some Leo Skeppy energy in some hateful situation with someone. Oh, really? Oh, she comes from the drag world. Is she a drag queen like RuPaul or just underground drag? Oh, you guys are really okay. I'm so glad you know this bubble because I am definitely in the dark here.
Y'all gonna be talking about?
We've been talking about Miss Tina came in. She was my first guest,
She has a
Beyonce's
book,
mother.
yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about matriarch.
Yeah, Tina Knowles was on her podcast.
And we also found out that she defended that it was also featured on The View.
Yes.
We have Wayne Brady has been on
Yeah,
there.
I like Wayne.
We got Representative Jasmine Crockett on there.
Yeah.
We've had Chappell Roan. Like I have an array of guests.
Oh, she guest judges on RuPaul a lot. Okay, cool. Oh, wow. They're like celebrity status. You know what I mean? Like she's celebrity status, right? Beyonce's mom's coming on your show. You know what I mean? Like that's celebrity status to me. So, okay.
And this is why I want you to come on there because
I'm happy
the,
to.
the podcast is not shady. And the reason why I called it Outlaws is because we talk about things that have gotten us into a space where people have kind of like tried to ostracize us for us being who we are or being what we are. And we talk about stuff like that, you know, and just people get in there and they share deep things with me because I have the ability to sit down with people and people will get naked with me. I think it's because they met me naked.
And they also feel comfortable.
Got to.
Yeah, feel
Because
comfortable
here's the
with
thing. If I said something, I'm going to own it. Just like I
Right.
said.
Yeah.
Okay, we said trainee, but
Right.
here's the reason why.
Right.
So if I said something, I own it. If I did something wrong to somebody and somebody be like, bitch, you said, I'm like, hold on, let me check myself. Wait a minute, I might have was wrong with that, or I was,
Yeah.
you know, I would say that. And I'm not afraid of nobody in no place that I go.
Yeah, but you are doing big things.
Yes.
I'm
also in the
so
movie.
it's certain things you just can't say. And
You-
certain
man,
stuff you
shit.
just can't answer to everything. You know
So
what
let
I'm
me
saying?
tell you
I'm
something.
telling you because you're going somewhere.
I get that,
And you
Nene,
gotta
right?
not.
I get that.
Yeah.
But as powerful and big as your personality is, you're gonna let a bitch know you're not gonna do this to me,
Yeah, I used to. Now I don't even say nothing.
girl.
I don't feel like it.
Sister, listen to
I
me.
be tired and
I
everything.
know we be tired. But
Oh, she also has a center for trans women. Oh, that's nice.
this is the thing. What I don't want to ever get into a space of where I'm so main.
You know what it was? Okay, I'm still thinking about the F slur thing. I think it's saying it on a podcast. I guess it's yeah, like I don't know the podcast vibe. Like maybe that's what keeps throwing me off. It's like, oh, she's so casual with the words. And I understand, like, I'm in the part of the internet where, like, we don't even say the R slur here. And, like, I've transformed my content not to use that word, even though I know people are saying slurs behind closed doors. And I don't know why people are pretending like people aren't saying slurs because, like, obviously communities reclaim them and words are constructs. They don't matter. They only matter within the context. So within this context, I'm interested in the fact that she, like, uses it on a podcast that may have an audience that may not receive it well because they might use it to internalize their own homophobia. Something like that. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing that I think about a lot is like, what audience am I on? You know, and then what am I listening to, right? Chet says Nene is an ally for real. Let's see, because the clip I saw of this podcast it felt like an ally the same way white women are allies to black women. But they still want to touch their hair. So let's see, because I definitely got a bad impression based off the clip I saw, but maybe I was wrong in the full context. But, you know, everyone's an ally differently. Some people are allies, but refuse to go to Pride. Some people are allies. Like, I don't know. I saw this conversation that says you're not actually an ally if you marry somebody who isn't one. And I think about that a lot. You know, I think about that a lot. Like, can you be an ally and marry somebody who doesn't believe in gay marriage? Or can you be an ally to somebody who's transphobic? Like, can you be an ally? Anyway, we'll get to the clip that brought me to me watching this in the first place, okay?
Mainstream.
Yeah.
Where
You're just not
where,
you.
Where they have control over everything.
Yeah.
If I want to get up one day and say, "Eat my shit, nigga," if I want to get up and say, "Kiss my entire," I want to be able to do that.
You want to wake up and say it.
If I feel this way.
Yeah.
And this is why people have been calling for me to be canceled about a lot of shit I've said. Hell, I've read girls, I've read women, I've read men, I've read
Yeah.
black women, I've read black men, I've read trans, I've read
Yeah.
stuff. So people have been calling for me to be canceled about a lot of things that I say. And I tell them, listen, God gave me this. He gave me this filthy ass mouth. He gave me my motherfucking goddamn charisma. He gave me the authority to create my own lane, and that's what I'm
Right.
doing. And you ain't gonna be able to take that from me, no matter.
But you do understand.
So then the whole conversation is exactly the impression I'm getting, which is like, because a big part, it goes back to that story I told you guys yesterday on stream about the girl showing up to a government appointment not dressed appropriately. Like, there is something you signal to society by showing up appropriately. Now, that doesn't mean in the Eurocentric, white supremacist way that America has set forth as the standard. We're not talking about those people. We're not talking about that standard. We are not talking about white people saying froze are unprofessional. Fuck that. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about, and I do want to expand on this. I made a podcast about Michelle Obama and professionalism, but I want to expand on it better to talk about, like, there is a world that exists in which you can show up glammed and be professional. But then there's a type of showing up that just, no matter the context, like, can't be pulled off as professional. And it's subjective based off of culture, so it can shift. But in the culture that's set, and it's different everywhere, what does that look like? So she's being called out by a lot of people saying, like, hey, the way you show up is disruptive. And she's saying, God gave me this filthy mouth. Sounds like somebody who's almost like a rebellious teenager who's like, you can't tell me how to talk and you can't tell me how to be. I'm going to show up how I want. Fuck, 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 fuck. And it's like, yes, you learned what fuck was. It's like, you sound like a kid who's like, you can't tell me what to do. And it does sound silly. It sounds like an immature. But then maybe it's a part of the ownership and feeling like everything else has been taken from her. Maybe it's connected to trauma in relation to her being trans, or even her never feeling good enough in the celebrity world, or whatever her thing is she's dealing with in therapy, right? Maybe it stems from trauma, which I think it does in a lot of ways with a lot of people, right? Is like, don't tell me what to do. I got here. I'm famous. I did this thing. Like, don't tell me that I can't say things. Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said about that. Right? So there's a lot of nuance, I think, in the conversation. I think that's what made me so interested in this clip. It's like, oh, who is this person and what is their life and what brought them here and what makes them say these things? And even more than that, the clip I saw showed T.S. Madison being very compassionate, very educated, very lovely, very compassionate to Nene, who is actually saying something pretty transphobic, homophobic. So that's why I want to talk about this, because I did not come into this podcast thinking about Madison or T.S. I was thinking about Nene. Because the clip I saw put Nene in the fire. So the fact that we're at this point of the pod and I'm talking about TS's activities, I'm like, oh, damn, this is going to be a full, this is going to be a full circle of like, oh, like I wasn't even prepared to talk about T.S. Madison in this way. So now I'm kind of like excited to see where it's going to go. And how did we get from the clip I saw on the internet to this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Chat says, wow, exactly. Wow. Chat says, right, I think people can overcorrect when they've been silenced previously. We all do. I don't know how many things are really a universal experience, but I think that might be one of them. I've got story after story of me overcorrecting when I got an ounce of freedom and inappropriately interacting with people socially, so autistic, because I'm free now. I can do whatever I want. I cannot tell you how many people I've been inappropriately nude in front of because I was like, you will not tell me to clothe myself. Not my best side. Okay. This was many years ago. Not my best side. But I was so frustrated with people telling me to cover up and be modest. I was like, I will be in the nude if I want to be in the nude. Like I have overcorrected so far in my life that I'm just like, God, like what? Okay, Brittany, if I could go back in time, I would have been like, not this way, girl, not this way. But I get it. So I've been there. I am speaking from experience, In
certain situations, it's just sort of like,
don't respond. Or
I don't need me all the time.
I don't.
I don't.
I'm telling you not to.
I know. I listen. I'm listening to OG, and I don't. I don't, Nene. I don't. I'm trying to get better.
Yeah. Some stuff just forget.
Because there's a lot of things that I be want to respond to with a lot of narratives that be spent about me. But then it gets to a place where it's just like, well, people are going to believe what they want. Sometimes people have already built up this thing like, I believe that this is what happened. So no matter if you brought receipts, it doesn't matter because I believe that this is what
Well, I always say, I give you a chance to say what you're going to say. Say it, and I'm not going to respond. I might even give you a second chance, but when it's my turn to talk, don't get mad at what I'm about to say, okay? Because I let you say it, all the stuff you want to say, so I get to say what I want to say.
In the
So,
words of Nene Leakes, I said.
what I said. And we're not going to change it, okay? We ain't changing now, right? That's how that go. I'm telling you now. We're not going to change it. That's what we said. We said what we said, and
what I
that's
said,
it.
yeah.
And we're not changing
Yeah.
it, okay?
So
Go
I
ahead.
want to talk to you about, I'm in an upcoming film. It's called Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
Noah's
okay.
Ark is coming out on Paramount.
Okay, I feel like I'm just discovering Nene for the first time, but I have been using her gifts she is an icon. She is an GIF icon. Like, I am just having a realization that all those amazing gifts I use all the time are Nene's face. I love her. She's an icon. What does she do? Who is she? She's a real housewife, right? I do not know anything about this bubble, but I love her. I love her face. She is everything. I literally was like, why does she look so familiar? And then I put her name in my GIF box because I was like, is she the GIF? She's absolutely the gifts I use. I love her. What?
Paramount Plus, June 20th.
Wow, she's a celebrity.
It's a show that was out back then when I was
Atlanta
finding myself, and a
Housewives.
lot of queer people were finding themselves. And so I've been added to the cast. My character is Lady Genevieve. And I'm so excited because that's the next thing that's coming out. I'm so excited for it because the new kids get the opportunity to see a lot of the new queer people get a chance to see a lot of themselves in the characters, the older characters and the new characters that are brought to the show. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you a few questions,
Yes, I
and
like this.
that some of the fans have. One of the things that you've said before that you was a sex worker.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I was a sex worker. I was a prostitute. I've done adult film. And I didn't just do them. I owned it. It was my intellectual property.
A sex worker, like you walk the street
I walked the streets too.
and then let somebody pick you.
And pick me
you.
up.
Not pick me
Pick me
up.
up, honey.
And
Come
then
on.
and then what
Take
we
me
went.
off to the bushes and we handled that.
Not to the bushes.
And we handled that.
For
And-
real.
Yes. And here's
Now, how did that feel?
Well, it felt like it felt good because actually that's some of the best thing you'll ever have is that street dig. It's like going to another country having street food.
Not the street, dude.
It's gonna tear your stomach up, but
Whoa. T.S. Madison is 47. I do not recommend to young SWs that you go to the street and find customers this way. You have a higher chance of death and abuse happening to you. Most streetwalkers are in survival sex work. It is not something I recommend doing. I say this as a person who's never been a survival sex worker or walked the streets, but it's highly dangerous, especially to people of color. So I'm a little concerned with that idea that she is making light of it because I've watched a lot of trans documentaries, and what I've noticed is it's been sensationalized, the survival sex work that a lot of people had to do when they were young and gay and trans. And I don't appreciate the romanticization. I had a person one time, a white man. So you just know we started off on a great place. There's a joke. And he was romanticizing the struggle that trans women and sex workers had been in. I was like, isn't this amazing? Look at them. They're like really figuring it out. They're 15 and they're resourceful. And I'm like, they're 15. They're 15. They're not figuring it out and they're resourceful. They're literally children kicked out of their parents' house, surviving by having sex with strange men. Why are you doing that? And it's the white knightness. I'm telling you, it's the white knight savior complex of aren't these people that need saving also amazing? Because look at the way they survive. It's the people who romanticize like really difficult situations as a way to like, yeah, Chet says it perfectly. Sounds like survival sex work and she's glamorizing what has to be a traumatic experience. Yeah, and I don't want to put trauma on people that feel like they don't identify with that situation or that word, but I'm deeply concerned about young people who might hear this and accidentally assume she's saying or recommending doing this thing instead of maybe in the moment just trying not to be sad about something that might have been sad. I don't want to speak for her. If she doesn't feel like she had a sad situation with it, fine. But I just don't recommend this for young people to hear this or even old people to hear this and think, I should go do street sex work. It's like, girl.
But it's gonna be some good food.
Oh,
And by the way, like, just put out a great shoot on OnlyFans. Definitely identify as a sex worker. Maybe you see me that way, maybe you don't. But either way, like, I don't have a problem with sex work. I don't want anyone to be a survival sex worker. I want everyone to do sex work because it's a job that they pursue like any other job, not something that they see as something they had to like sell their soul to do, right? Not all jobs are survival jobs, even though we're all surviving out here to pay our rent. Not all jobs are like in that same category of like you're eating away at your soul in the same capacity, even though you could describe it that way. I don't know how survival sex work is like a threat to your physical life, right? It's dangerous. It's a dangerous job. So like when I think about it, I don't want you to do it that way. I want you to do it in another way. And that is separate from corporate feeling like this job is sucking my soul out of my body. That's also real, but that's not survival corporate work, right? So the context is making me uncomfortable, but okay.
Having street food.
Not the street, dude.
It's gonna tear your stomach up, but it's gonna be some good food.
Oh, not tear my
It's
stomach
gonna tear your
up.
stomach up. It's gonna be some good food. But Nene, this is the thing about it is I'm very vocal about that, and I'm very open about those things because I'm not ashamed. Because here's the thing: you'll get into a mainstream space and people will be like, "You're a porn star." You telling something you can't tell my story. I'll tell it.
Yeah, I think she's doing it out of defense. Like she doesn't want other people to tell her story in a way that doesn't feel good to her. And I think people have tried to make her feel bad about it. And when you feel bad about yourself, when you feel ugly in the face of the world that's looking at you and poking at you, I think she's doing it out of a need to protect herself. Like you are not a bad person because you are a sex worker. You're not a bad person because you're trans. You're not a bad person because you're anything. But I'm sure the world has tried to make her feel bad about it. She's 47. 47 is very different than being 22. You know, yeah, Chet says, I think she's protecting herself 100. I agree.
Yeah.
And it's awarded me to partner with Lee Daniels.
Yes.
And Lee Daniels and I are making a biopic series about my life as a sex worker.
See, that's the problem. It awarded me, it allowed me, as if to say to young people, go be a sex worker, go struggle, and then somebody will write about it. Do you know, I thought that when I was younger, I internalized this idea that if my life was actually struggle, then I could tell it later. Because nobody wanted to hear about a life that didn't have struggle. But what I didn't realize until I got older is that everybody struggles. Everybody's got a story. You do not have to put yourself in situations to struggle to use it to tell stories. Do you know what I mean? Uh-oh, someone said not Lee Daniels. Who's Lee Daniels? Do we hate him? Do we love him? Is that a guy or girl? Lee Daniels. Who's Lee Daniels? Filmmaker, producer, The Deliverance, Precious, Butler, Paperboy, Empire, Star. Okay. So quite big, 65 years old. I mean, that's a pretty big person. You said not Lee Daniels, though. Is that a bad person? Made it in the chat says this is why it's important to decriminalize sex work because it keeps survival sex workers safer and reduces harm. Amen. Chat says statistically, the Venn diagram of street survival sex workers that are victims of trafficking is almost a circle. Chad says, I wonder if she's been more vulnerable about her experience in another interview or conversation. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to see her be actually vulnerable about how hard it must have been, you know? So major credit to her life in getting this far and surviving because it must have been really difficult, right? Chad says, I don't see Lee Daniel making a sensitive show about T.S. Madison. Maybe though. Well, I don't know if she wants it to be told that way. She might want it to sound romantic. You know, when I was younger, I used to romanticize Hugh Hefner and the bunnies, not because I wanted to be a bunny, but because I wanted to be Hugh Hefner. And then I realized like, oh, there's something really insidious happening in this bubble. I used to, when I was 18, I had a car, you know, and I would subscribe to Playboy and I would get it sent to a P.O. box. And then I would hide the magazines in my trunk of the car. And then I would subscribe to all the gay magazines too. Don't worry. I would subscribe to everything. But I grew up in such a conservative bubble that when I got out of it, or at least was living at home and I had a car, it was like I could be free. And I did romanticize struggle. I did romanticize sex work in that way. I did romanticize the like drugs and addiction. I did romanticize toxicity because it was the only way. Like one, I saw people getting famous, and two, I saw people feeling like they had a story to tell or it made them interesting, or, you know, or in some cases, like I think what Madison or TS is doing now is I feel like she's saying, you know, this thing happened to me, but it was my life and it was glorious and beautiful. And it's like, yeah, she probably wants to romanticize her life. And I think that's a big part of why therapy is so scary. And I don't know if she's in therapy, but therapy does help have you look at your life and realize like, yeah, maybe it was worse than you thought, or maybe it was better than you thought, or maybe it was both. You know what I learned about my life through therapy is it was better than I thought it was, and it was worse than I thought it was. That's what I learned through therapy. Chet says it is romanticized to death in the culture, especially in the 90s and 2000s. Girl, you know, as a millennial, oh my gosh. And all these celebrities, I mean, look how many celebrities died at, what is it, the 27 Club? And how many people wanted to die at 27 just to be like memorialized, basically? Yep.
Worker.
Well, let me ask you this about sex work, because I ain't never been a sex worker
You just was
before.
a dancer.
I was a dancer.
But that's a part of sex work.
You think so?
Yes.
I wasn't addicted or anything. Well,
I was a dancer. That's a sex worker. Was it? I wasn't addicted or anything. See how sex work is associated with addiction? Are you really a sex worker if you're not even addicted, bro? I don't blame her. That's a very big stereotype. That is part of the destigmatization that we're working on, is to destigmatize the association that sex workers are addicts, right? That in Seattle, when I lived in Seattle, there were addicted women who were streetwalkers, sex workers, who were walking in middle of the fucking road through traffic. And there was nothing we could do for them. There was no shelter that could keep them, no police that could put them to a safe place. And we were warned in that part of Seattle to be careful because girls were getting nabbed off the street. They get them addicted and then they throw them in the street to make money. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like there's a part of sex work that's the survival part. The part that's connected to gangs and trafficking and survival and rape, right? Sex work, privileged sex work, what I like to call middle-class sex work is like, a job. It's a job. It runs a business. I pay tax. Okay. Like it's not the same, right? It's a job. I pay tax. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's not like this. It's not this really scary, insidious man threatening my life to like show up and be naked. It's different. So that association that Nene has is not uncommon. That's why when people hear sex work, they go, that's so sad. Like, is somebody controlling you? Who's convincing you to do this? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Wait, Chet says, I'm a little confused seeing the transphobia in Nee's original comment. She sounded like she was confused why a trans individual was using transphobic language to attack her. Can anyone explain to me? Well, the transphobic, hold on. Are you referencing the fact that I said there's a transphobic clip coming up because we haven't seen it yet? Is that why you're confused? Because the clip I'm talking about hasn't shown up yet. So there might not be any transphobia to see, right? It hasn't shown up yet. Is that what you're asking about? We're just building up to it.
I wasn't addicted to the
I
sex.
just need to pay for school and then went
Okay.
on.
Well, I needed to pay for housing and living. And until Vine came along,
Yeah.
that's when my trajectory changed. Like 6 seconds changed my life.
Were you addicted to it though?
As a sex worker, I became numb.
Yeah, I can see that.
In this space and time in my life right now, I'm learning how to have emotions for people,
Yeah.
for other human beings.
Yeah.
Because when you have
She's learning this at 47.
people touch you,
Yeah.
and especially men.
Yeah.
Men lie when they wake up.
Yeah. Oh, they lie when they wake up.
They wake up and it's told us this lie.
Well, let me call this fool back. He
Yeah,
was
he
lying
lied.
this morning.
He lied this morning. You gotta understand that you become so numb, like you are numb
Yeah.
to the ridicule,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
You become numb. Like people will try to put their emotions and their feelings on you, and I'm now. It's like if you had cancer. I don't know if anybody out there has ever had cancer.
My husband had cancer.
Yeah. Do you remember him going through it and he developed
Yeah, he did.
neuropathy?
Yeah, in
is
his
that
hands.
the word?
Yeah, it's
Neuropathy, right?
Yeah, your tips are numb.
You're numb. Your feet is
Yeah,
numb. Your fingers are numb.
yeah,
Like everything is
yeah,
numb.
yeah.
And it's just like after the chemo and he started getting himself together.
Yeah.
This is what this chapter of my life has been like for me. Is learning how to reconnect my feelings and emotions to humans, to
Okay.
people,
Good.
because I didn't have it.
Well, are you still having sex?
Yes.
You are, and you feel it. I mean, I mean,
like
when I
this
say you
question.
feeling
No,
it,
I
like
like this question.
I mean, like, are you in it? I guess.
I like this question.
Like you in it.
I do like this question because I'm going to answer it with a very honest answer. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to try to connect that because I've been so accustomed to men.
This is vulnerability. I think this is the first time we're seeing like a vulnerability. I really appreciate it as well.
Giving me money.
Right.
That if and this is why I'm very meticulous about who I have sexual intercourse with, because what tends to happen is I have a thing like you've used me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because
I can
I've been
understand that.
I've been accustomed to being paid, and and so a person laying down having a sexual encounter with me and didn't
Yeah.
give me anything. So I'm very meticulous. I'm like, nah, and I'm in the space now. You have to worship me.
Right, that's true.
I need to be
Well, you
worshipped.
say it's big. They probably
It
really
is.
like it.
Listen, it bought me a house. It bought me the first house.
Wow.
It bought me the first house.
Yeah, so you use it?
Yes,
You use it.
viciously.
Wow. I could see you being like not connected and
Vicious.
being really
Yeah.
mean with it.
Yes.
No.
Get on your knees and eat.
Ooh.
Is you hungry?
Ooh.
Get on your knees and eat, nigga.
Ooh. I love that.
Separate.
But you don't, I get it. I get
But
that
this
you're
is
not
why
in
I
it.
like dominant women. Like I'm very drawn to women who are in control. Like I like women who command a presence.
I will say there's like so much pain here and there's so much trauma here and there's so much deconstruction that needs to happen. But I will say, like, it sounds like TS has been surviving her whole life. You know, Chet says, I don't know if I would hype this up. I don't think you have a choice in that setting. Like, in this moment, like, I wouldn't want TS to see my video because it feels like this is somebody at the very beginning stages of deconstruction, of realization, of introspection in regards to trauma. Like, this is somebody so unhealed that, like, there's got to be like a, okay, girl, get it, girl. Like, there's got to be a little bit of encouragement, because I think anything negative or critical could, like, you know, they're not ready maybe for it. I don't know. I don't want to speak for her, obviously, but people in this situation. So I think, like, this might be a time just to be a good listener and maybe what's this, an enthusiastic listener? I think in this situation, I'd probably be an enthusiastic listener as well, just because at this stage, she might need it, you know?
I like women who know what they want and who is not needy for a man.
Have you ever slept with a woman?
I've never been with a woman. Well, hold on.
No, I mean sexually, for real.
Hold on, I gotta add this up. Okay, the year. I've been with a couple, and we talk about it in my book that's being made too.
Like had sex.
Yeah, I've been with a couple, but I couldn't function with her because I'm not sexually attracted to women.
Right.
But when she saw
How nice and
how
strong
well done I
it
was, honey,
yeah.
she was like, ooh, she asked him because she get on. I was like, no, ask him, ask me.
Right.
I know y'all using me, but it's still mine.
That's how you feel. Yeah. That's how you feel.
Yeah, so there's been threesomes and interactions. I know you guys are using me, but it's still mine. Wow. Yeah, it's like, how do you feel powerful in a world in which you're being objectified? It's why I'm very cautious about the OnlyFans I run. I'm like very cautious about the work that I do. If I feel any entitlement from the audience, like, I'm going to get annoyed. You are not entitled to my body. Like, you are not entitled to me being nude. So if I, like, somebody posts a comment that's like let's say I post a non-nude content, because sometimes I do that. If I get a comment, I had this like a month ago or so, some guy wrote, at least do this naked. And I was like, block, mute, banned, like, I suppress, like, you get a consequence for that. Because any entitlement you have to seeing me naked is inappropriate, in the same way that if somebody was like, even on YouTube, like, even an entitlement to YouTube, like, you didn't make the video I wanted, or a demand of like, you need to cater to me, is like, I'm going to be annoyed with you. Like, I'm going to be annoyed with you because I'm already out here. I don't have to do this. I could be doing a different job. Like, you are not entitled to me making the video you want to see or anything else. And so it's like the entitlement is what I think is really gross. And that's why objectification is so gross. It's the entitlement to that person's consciousness. They like is so grossed from society, right? Chat says, Maiden says, healthy sex work is possible with therapy. And I think also a philosophical journey as well. Honestly, Brittany's work really helped me on my own journey. I love that. And I think that's kind of like what helps me too, is realizing that there are healthy ways to exist as a celebrity, as a content creator, as a public figure, as a sex worker, as a thing that's consumed. Because you have to remember, like, I know that I'm in a job where people consume me every day. I know I'm in a job where people feel entitled. I know I'm in a job where you get stalked. And I know I'm in a job that makes people feel closer to me than is sometimes even reasonable, right? Like, I know I'm in a weird job. So I think I feel for her in that regard, where we do a job, and I know I'm not a famous person. I know I'm like not a top celebrity, but like, you don't have to be to get if anything, when you're small, people feel even more connected to you because then they're like, you're closer to them in proximity. You're not millions of fans away from them. You're 10 fans away from them. You're 2,000 fans away from them. You're 10,000 fans. So they feel even more connected in some ways. So yeah, I think the objectification part is really what I see here that I think is so important. And I hope that she heals. It's so amazing to me, like 47 years old and just having a reality with feelings and stuff, right? 47 and just realizing like, can I feel connected during sex? Like there's a lot to deconstruct there, you know? Chet says, it is weird to you. Is it weird to you at all? Is it weird to you that I watch you all the time? Obviously it's your job, but it must feel strange to get comments from a username without a face. I don't know. I love content creators too. I love streams. I love super chatting people. I love talking to chat. I think I'm a consumer, so it's probably easier for me to normalize it, but I love content creators. I just love people telling me about their life. So I think I just assume you guys are similar to me. Now, sometimes I do get weirdos, and sometimes I definitely have people in my chat that I'm like, something's weird with them. I don't know what it is, but something is fucking weird with them. And I have accepted that that's just the reality. And sometimes I get comments that I'm just like, this person feels weird. And I just try to be safe about it. But I think 99% of the people in my community are just like normies or like normal, like I feel normal. Just regular people with special interests and they want to discuss it with people. I really do love streams. When I'm looking for something to watch when I'm eating, I hope someone's streaming. Because I love watching people in real time talk about stuff. That shit is so good. Like I'm definitely like a streamer audience person, you know? So I think that's probably who most of my audience is, I'm assuming. But yeah, I know other people have other ways, like watching the news every day, like making somebody a part of your morning schedule. It's the same thing, except, you know, there's not a chat to talk to. But, you know, I used to be obsessed with Stephen Colbert, The View, late night shows. Like I used to wake up and like be excited that somebody posted a YouTube clip for my morning coffee. But now I just kind of hope someone's streaming or something. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I just watched Connor from Trash Taste tell this whole story about running into a woman who he thought was friends with his friend, but found out that was a fan off the street who had been following them to event for 3 hours. And even took Connor's phone and you know, followed herself through Connor's Instagram. And then Connor was like, hey, do you guys know her? Because she hasn't said anything. And they're like, no, she's just a fan off the street. And Connor's like, what the fuck? Why have we let a fan follow us for 3 hours? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm realizing that socially, we're just social creatures that are a little awkward. But like, why was that happening? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there are like weird things that happen. But I think, you know, there's always going to be those people in the audience, but I as long as that's not the majority of your audience, you're probably good, which is also why I don't cater to men. If I'm going to be honest, one of the reasons I don't want a male audience is because every time I've had one, it's really dangerous. Like the women I know, the streamers I've heard about, people that I know through people, when they have male audiences, it is a very different day at work. And the small time in my career I've had a mostly male audience, it was hard. It was difficult, you know? So I think it's nicer to have a female audience or a woman audience or an AFAB audience men who are comfortable in that space exist in. Because the men who are comfortable in a woman's space are like some of the best kinds of men versus men who are only comfortable in male spaces. Like they're usually men who haven't deconstructed their misogyny. So that's why I think I focus on that, right? Chat said Brittany and chat is routine, but would be the same without chat. Honestly, even today, because it's a Saturday and it's a special stream day, and I don't normally stream at this time, I was fully prepared to do a stream without anybody in chat. But I'm so glad you guys are here on a Saturday, but I was fully prepared, and I think it would have felt the same. I think I show up, I bring the same energy to stream, whether there's people watching or not, which is what I had to do at some point in my career, right? It's not like I always had, you know, people watching. So I show up, I do stream, and I think that reassures my audience that like, whether you're here or not, I'm still making the content you subscribe for, you know? And I think that helps probably. All right, let's go back to this video.
I know y'all using me, but this still mine.
That's how you feel.
That's how I felt.
I want you to not feel that way.
Now
She said, I want you to not feel that way.
Getting better. Like I'm getting to a space where like if I have a sexual, it's like, okay, I might like you a little bit.
Now you think they use you because of the size?
the size, the aura, the energy, the
thrill.
dominance.
The thrill, the objectification, the taboo of it all. Who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
You must be hung.
I have a little piece.
Wow.
I got a little piece. I mean, listen, when I lose some weight, bitch, I'm gonna gain about 3 more inches.
Yeah. Wow. So you're not in a serious relationship. You're exclusive with someone?
I have moments.
Yeah. Moments of exclusivity.
It's all my
No.
niggas got to go home.
Well, I ain't mad at that. They can go home.
Yeah, they got to go home.
But is it like one you favor over all
Oh
the
yes,
others?
there's a few I favor over others, but this one
Yeah.
one I favor. And here's the thing about that: I don't know how to be a wife, so they got to have somebody that's gonna do them duties.
Why you don't know how to be a wife?
Listen,
you look like a
I
wife.
can be,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna call the maid in there. She gonna do the cooking and frying and shit. I ain't doing all that.
You look like a wife.
I can be,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm the wife that's gonna dress up and tell you to get down and eat.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do the cooking.
No,
and
I'm not
cleaning.
doing that. I'm not ironing
Yeah.
no clothes, and I'm not doing all that. Now I'll hold you down,
Yeah.
and I'll lead you in a direction financially where you can get money because I'm gonna need that.
Well, do you want to be a parent?
Maybe in 10 years when I'm 56,
You think so?
58 or something. Maybe when I'm
Girl, you can't. I kind of have a. Okay, that's kind of too old to be a parent in my mind, but whatever.
close to 60 probably.
You think you might want to be a parent?
Maybe.
Maybe. You're not 100%
Maybe. I'm not
sure.
100% sure. My niggas got kids.
Okay. So you can play parent for a little
I
while.
wave at them and stuff like, hey kid, hey.
Mm-hmm,
All my niggas got kids.
Okay, so do you like men who, I hear a lot of gay guys say, no, I like straight men. And I'm like, that man is not straight.
Well, I'm a
I-
trans woman. So,
I think they
so,
like
so me and a gay guy are two different things.
Okay, ready? This is the part. This is it. Okay, ready? Again, they both seem lovely. I like them both in a sense, like from a distance, but they're not like, I just want you to compare them to the work we do here on this channel. And just think about how much we have deconstructed gender and orientation and labels, and then listen to the way that they're gonna have this conversation and just recognize, I want you to also pat yourself on the back for all the work you have done to deconstruct, okay? Because very different work, and they're not bad people. They're just on a different part of the journey, okay? Ready?
A man that's attracted to a woman can be attracted to a trans woman and a bio woman.
So you like more.
I
you
like men
more-
who like women because men who like women know how to handle this pussy.
No,
A
not
gay
even-
man's gonna be. I don't have muscles. I don't have muscles or mustaches. Or,
Yeah.
I don't have that. I smell
Right.
like aromas of perfumes.
Yes, you do.
And oils and
Yeah.
honey, it's hair and lipstick.
Yeah.
You come in here to get that. This is extra. This is a toy.
It is.
You come in here to get all this. This is extra. Because if you come in here looking for this first, you're not gonna be my man.
So you like masculine.
Oh, that's all I'm gonna do it.
It's the masculine one.
And I'm not messing with no man that's getting fucked.
Oh.
Well, I'm not personally, not in my personal life, Nene. Now, if
No, in your
now-
personal
now,
life, yeah.
Now, if we
I get
jumping
that.
off,
Yeah.
and that thing ain't get to be brick, is this shit, you know. Real thugs get down on the floor like a pimp.
So you have answered every question on
You
this
sure?
thing.
So even that part, there's more. Even that part right there, it feels like there's a little homophobia, or like I'm a little confused. Like, is she trying to say I'm not with gay men, or is she saying I'm not with bisexual men or pansexual men? And I know this is like, I don't know if there's like strictly in the binary. And so I'm like, oh, what is that about? Okay, but wait for it.
Hey, honey, yes, one of the questions I see on here said you wear so many hats. How do you stay grounded?
My mother.
Yeah.
My mother keeps me grounded.
Does your mom live with you?
Yes, my mother lives with me. And she keeps me grounded because my mother makes me go in the grocery store. My mother makes me, she keeps me like humble.
Yeah.
She always tells me like, you know, boo, don't be too big, don't this and the other, whatever. I'm like, mommy, but you gotta understand the bigger that I get as a start, you know, you got to, even when you Instacart, you gotta take your picture
Yeah.
off of there. You can't,
I don't Instacart. I've never done it before.
you go in the grocery store.
Yeah, I like going to the grocery store. That's the only place I get a chance to go. I love going to
But
the grocery
Nene, so
store.
the people,
I go right. They come in there and talk, and I be instantly like, hold it. 1 second.
You don't
Like,
have
I'm
your-
over
you have
here
your
trying.
bodyguard with you?
Sometimes not.
whatever. You know, I have my team, I have my bodyguard and stuff with me, you know, and then sometimes I don't have him. But, and I try to keep my mother protected too, because, you know,
Yeah.
and we're also living in a time where the government has tried to make trans people public enemy number one. So I still have to
Yeah.
think about my safety and stuff
Yeah.
like that too. Like even at the airport, I go to the airport, I gotta go film tomorrow.
Love that she mentioned that. Very important to remember that, like, our president of the United States, Trump, literally said that there's only man and women, and it's attacking exactly people like TS. And I think that's really important that she mentioned that.
Everybody is coming.
Do you
in,
love your
everybody.
life, Nene?
I do. I'm getting in a much better place where
Oh, she said, do you love your life?
Yeah.
like everybody is coming
Do
in.
you love your
everybody-
life, Nene?
I do. I'm getting in a much better place where I feel like I am really at peace with everything in my life. So I am happy. You know, there's a piece of my life that's missing. My husband's not here. I'm used to having a partner with me.
Are you dating?
Yes.
Oh, did he die from cancer? I'm gonna cry. Did he die from cancer? I'm so sad. Oh, that really hurts me. Is that what happened? Oh no.
I am dating, and I was dating someone for a while, for almost 4 years now. But we're not dating anymore.
Okay, good.
Oh, he did. He died in 2021. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh. Oh, that's so emotional. Oh, she really lost her husband. That's so sad.
I know you didn't say okay, good.
Yeah, you got somebody new. Listen, if
I
you
don't have anybody new. I'm single.
What, you still dating? A new person?
I'm
listen.
not dating a new person. I was dating him for.
So are you dating new people? Are you?
I'm open to dating new people. Some of my girlfriends have tried to hook me up a little bit.
So your ideal man, does he necessarily need to be rich?
Yes, he does.
He needs to be rich. I love you.
Yeah. There will just be no exceptions. If you see me with him, he got some money. But sure, because I've already built a life with my husband, and I don't want to help build somebody. I want somebody, I'm the gift giver. I'm always giving people. I would love for someone to give me. I want to be able to travel the world.
With
and
him.
And I don't want to buy your first class seat because I'm going to be sitting in first class.
Yeah,
now.
because listen, I don't go past row 6.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so if she says, I want to be with somebody rich, so your dating pool, like your high compatibility partner, like what are the chances, right? See, this is when I say, like, are you dating the consciousness or are you dating their bank account? You know what I mean? And like, are you looking for a teammate or are you looking for somebody you're dating? If you're dating, I get it. But if you're looking for your next high compatibility partner, but maybe she's not, right? But this is like very interesting. Yeah, it's all very interesting. When people in this particular way talk about relationships in this particular way.
Where you gonna be sitting there, see? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I want you to be with me, and I want to be able to travel the world with you.
Chad says, I think she means keep up with her, but the example she gave is, I'm going to be sitting in first class and I'm not going to buy your ticket. Where are you going to be sitting?
And so I need somebody that's just well-traveled. They understand, they get it, they have a career. I just need somebody like that.
I'm going to date several men at a time.
Well, if you meet somebody that's just good for me, let me know. Because
Would you date him if I know him?
Yeah, that doesn't. Do you only know gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
Well.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, well, I you know when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because
Oh, here we go. Ready?
what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you,
Yeah. What is
and
he?
well, he likes women.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
And if he does know, he likes women.
Okay.
Now-
But what is he?
Well, that would possibly is a possibility.
He's bisexual?
He could be bi or he could be pan.
Okay, what was pan? I forgot.
A
That means
pansexual.
you be whatever you like.
Hearts, not
Pan.
hearts.
Right. So whatever you see you like, whatever I'm on, that's what I'm on today.
Yeah.
Okay, got
You
it.
know, a lot of men are
Yeah.
a lot of men are pan, but they don't say anything. Like
I don't want to run into them. I don't want to date him.
Nene, if you've dated
I need you to
Uh-oh.
like
Nene, if you've
Hello
dated
Kitty
if
all
you
the time.
if you've dated men,
yes.
if you've dated men, there's a possibility in your life that
He's been with a man.
he's been with something.
What do you mean he's been with something?
He's been outside.
Oof. Oof. Okay. This is why I'm trying to say. Now, okay, everybody, I know, chat's going off. Remember, this is their path in deconstruction. This is where they're at. This is where we're at. Like, we're in different places. And yes, TS is being so fucking patient right now, this is the clip I saw on TikTok. So I wasn't even prepared for the other parts of this breakdown. I was like, what is happening? Because TS is being so patient and so thoughtful in how she's explaining this to Nene. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is very common. A lot of straight women are very threatened by bisexual, pansexual men. They're threatened, who also has a conversation like this similarly is Blair White. Blair White will say, how can my fiance love me and not be gay or pan or bi or something? And I'm like, because you're a woman. It's this internalization that you don't really think you're a woman. Now, look, there are people I see on the internet that call themselves trans, but I actually would argue they're not, because they also don't think they're women, but they do everything they can to be a woman. And I'm like, see, you're not a woman then. you're just dressing like one. But trans women are women. And that's why it's, again, I'm confused about what we should do with this labeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't like this. Some people are having relationships with actually being like, TS is a woman, right? So dating her wouldn't make a man gay, though he could be bisexual, pansexual, because she's a part of that equation of gender he's into. But Nene saying that like she's basically saying you're not a woman. She's invalidating the thing, the gender, right? Chad says, is the equation of hetero attraction to vagina attraction? Yeah, the equation. Yeah, it's like basically a woman is a woman and a trans woman is a trans woman. That's the conversation that's happening right now. Or in another way of thinking about it is like, this is lesbians have this issue and straight women have this issue where you think every bisexual is going to leave you for the other sex. You need to all relax. Okay. Lesbians have biphobia too, because they're afraid bi women are going to leave them for men. And then straight women have a problem with bisexual men or pansexual men because they think they're going to leave them for men. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's an idea that like, it doesn't matter to, I think, Needy and where she's at. A trans person might never be anything more than a trans person. You remember Chimananda said the same thing where she said, a woman is a woman, a trans woman is a trans woman. And, you know, it's like all of this stuff. I get it. We're all deconstructing. We're all figuring it out. I just thought this clip was such a good indication of like where we are, where they are, what's happening, what journey you're on, how we use language differently. Why, like, you know, you think you have an ally or a friend, but your friend is secretly talking about how you're not really a woman behind closed doors. I would be hurt if I had genuine friendships with people and they validated my gender to my face, but not in private. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to build friendships with people like that. Like at this stage in my life, I'm not interested in building friendships with people that validate to my face, but not behind closed doors, because it feels like a lie to me. Like if you better have that conversation with me, like have the conversation with me. And it's one thing if you're like my religious family, they don't count. Cause like, they don't count. But my friends, like people I choose, like my chosen family, like so this is what it feels like. Now TS and Nene aren't necessarily friends. They're kind of being friendly. So it would right now, I'm just saying it would be hurtful. It would be inappropriate too. Like, I don't want to make friends like that. That's a good thing to think about with your friendships. Are your friendships validating your experience in in private? Are they like one thing I really love about my partner, and this goes back to that question I asked about allyship, is like, I mean, my partner's a really unique situation, but like, one thing I really love about my partner is that like we're always correcting each other if somebody like gets a pronoun wrong or a description wrong, or we'll remind each other like, oh, they transitioned, they, them, or like, oh, actually they just came out, this. We update each other's language for each other. Other couples might not. Other couples might be married to a person who mispronouns people and then they just kind of let it happen. We get corrected. We correct each other. Like, we're like, oh, no, update. Like, oh, no, this. It's like even friends, family, like the way that we validate our friends and family and their pronouns, their relationship to something. It's like really important for me to hear that validation. Like, oh, no, they're bisexual, or oh, no, they're pansexual. Like, that's really important to me. And so I think like that's another thing to think about when you're dating is, do your friends know how important that is? Are they safe spaces, or do they just want a token trans friend or a token gay friend or a token whatever friend, right? Okay.
So here's the thing. I know that women consider trans women men because we were born male.
I don't consider you a man, but she's talking about the women who do.
But there's a difference between being man and male.
I get it. But you have your part.
That's great.
So he can love you and think you're so beautiful, and I want to sleep with you.
There are men who deal with me that won't touch my parts. Anytime you see
But does he know it's there?
Yeah, he knows it's there. I'm not hiding it.
Oh, you're not?
No.
I mean, that wouldn't make any sense for
Well,
me.
I've had gentlemen to tell me, hey, put a pillow over that. And I'm like, well, you're not the nigga for me. You don't have to touch it and deal with it, but I'm not hiding shit from you.
So, okay, wait a minute. We got to go back and figure this out.
Yeah.
So the man.
Now we talking.
Yeah, so the man going to be sleeping with me and you? I don't want to talk to him no more.
You don't?
No,
Because
he's not telling me the truth.
Well,
9
what
times
is
out of
the truth
10,
does he need to tell you?
the guy seemed like he would come and tell me that he's bisexual. So what if he never told me? Isn't he lying to me? You said they wake up and lie.
They do.
So he woke up and lied.
But how is it? How can we make men comfortable to even say that they find other things outside?
I don't know, but I feel
what
like he should
society-
tell me what he likes.
But here's the thing: you might demonize him for telling.
I won't. I just probably won't be with him.
Yeah, that is correct. And then men risk. They risk losing that. You know, there are some men that have experiences, just like there are women that have had an experience.
Well, why he can't do to me the same thing he doing to you?
Because I don't have a pussy.
But that's, well, okay, you're right. I forgot. Okay.
I don't have a pussy.
But he's coming over there looking at your beautiful hair and makeup.
Uh-huh.
Well, he can't come over my house and see mine.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I think I lost track of the conversation there. What happened? I'm going to rewind it. Hold on.
Well, he can't do to me the same. I feel
what
like he should
societal-
tell me what he likes.
But
Oh, is she trying to say, like, why can't he be honest with me about what he likes? I'm confused.
here's the thing: you might demonize him for telling.
I won't. I just
Oh, okay. So you might demonize, and she said, I won't.
probably won't be with him.
Yeah,
But that is, see, that's, TS is really trying to explain it. So she is saying, yes, but if he comes to you and says, like, oh yeah, I've been with men, you're saying, I don't want to be with you. Or he's saying, oh yes, I've been with trans people, and he's like, I don't want to be with you. Or, oh yes, I've done this thing that's outside your framework of heterosexuality and manness. You don't want to be with him. And so she's like, yeah, but like, he doesn't have to lie to me, but I won't be with him either. It's like, but why won't you be with him? What is so wrong about a man being with both of you? Like, this is like, this would feel hurtful to be in a room with somebody who's like, I don't want a man who's touched you. Like, I don't want to be with a man who's touched somebody like you. It's like, my feelings are hurt. My feelings are hurt.
that is correct. And then men risk. They risk losing that. You know, there are some men that have experiences, just like there are women that have had an experience.
Well, why he can't do to me the same thing he doing to you?
Because I don't have a pussy.
I don't understand that
But that's-
question.
Well, okay, you're right. I forgot. Okay.
I don't have a pussy.
But he's coming over there looking at your beautiful hair and makeup.
Uh-huh.
Well, he can't come over my house and see mine.
Well, yeah.
Well, what's going on?
Well, shit.
Why the hell you going to sleep with me then going to sleep
Well,
with
he
you
got
for?
men like variety.
Oh, please. I don't want him.
Well, shit. I mean, hey, but it's happening.
I'm over it.
But these things, this is what women.
That's why I'm not even dating. I mean,
Is she talking about cheating? Is she saying that the man will cheat? Wait, I'm
I'm
confused.
dating, but I'm not. I mean, I don't
But
know.
you can't hold yourself to a dating standard because you're afraid of a man. That's not the worst.
So you
thing that
think
can
it's
happen.
okay for me to sleep with a guy that's sleeping like that?
Well, if he's sleeping,
Having sex like that?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that if he's
Like cheating?
bisexual, but here's the myth about bisexuality.
Do you think I should be taking PrEP? Is it called
Yes. I think that all women should be taking PrEP.
PrEP? Really?
Yes.
Because a friend of mine told me she's taking it.
Tamar.
Yeah.
Yeah. She told me too. I think that all women should be taking PrEP. I think
Ooh, she just outed that girl's medical history. I don't know if that girl wanted to be named.
that all women should take whatever necessary safety precautions, whether the man identifies as heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual, pansexual.
Because she's probably dealing with a lot of closeted men who have sex with men but aren't telling their partners, right? PrEP is for HIV prevention and healthcare. So she's probably used to men who are sleeping with men behind their female partner's back. And then she's saying, get on PrEP. You know what I mean? Because everyone can get HIV. Like, HIV isn't a homosexual disease or something, like where this isn't the fucking 70s and 80s anymore. So I think it's sort of a stigma, but it's about the cheating, the infidelity. That's really what this is about. It's about the infidelity. Yeah.
I think that all women should be taking the necessary precautions because when women really understand that men are a creature of curiosity, they're a creature of if that dick get hard, they gonna fuck it.
Really? So is the PrEP gonna make me sick? Like,
Well, the PrEP, you should consult with your PCP, your primary care physician, and let them walk you through the things that it would do. It would definitely build you up enough so you never.
I really appreciate the PrEP conversation. I appreciate the medical saying talk to your doctor. I appreciate that. Chad says they live in Atlanta and there are a lot of DL men. That makes a lot of sense. I think this is a bubble difference that's so important for us to take into consideration. And look, I've heard from a lot of trans women over the years that like the amount of men in their DMs is crazy. You know, okay, Chad says Tamar Braxton has been open and done interviews about taking PrEP. Okay, so this is a public thing. Got it. I really love the way TS is having this conversation. It's very educational. It's very compassionate. I think Nene is being genuine and kind of doesn't even know how offensive this can be. But also TS is probably so fucking used to it. But like this conversation would be so highly insensitive in the bubbles that I'm in that it'd be like, oh, what is this conversation? Like, and that's what's so interesting about bubbles, right? Is like, from my perspective, like, I'd be like, oh, that's transphobic. But you notice how TS didn't call her transphobic? She met her with compassion and love. She didn't shorthand to, oh, that's transphobia. Oh, that's homophobia. Oh, that's biphobia. Like she met her where she was with her language. She moved her through the conversation. She was like kind and compassionate, but it is like, oh, yeah, like we don't talk that way in the bubbles I'm in. So I just think this is such a good bubble difference to conversation, huh?
Never catch HIV or AIDS. Now, other STIs are out there, and I think
yeah.
that people think that that's the worst thing to have is AIDS. But you know, there are other STIs that you have to protect yourself from. So just protect yourself. Even if you're married, even in these days and times, if you're married, these niggas is loose.
They are. You are right now. That part I know
These
you right
niggas
about.
is loose.
They outside.
They out the door.
They are
I
out
don't give
the
a fuck how
door.
bad
Okay.
you is,
They
how
out the
pretty
door.
you is, how fine.
Well, that's the bubble. See, this is the bubble. This is sad. This is sad. I do think they're right. I do think infidelity is high. I do think it shouldn't be normalized, and I do think women should be on strike and not date men. No more men. No, you have to make sure the man you're with is deconstructed. You have to make sure he's done the work. God, I'm so hot today. Oh my God. You have to make sure he's deconstructed. You have to make sure he's done the work. You have to make sure that you're not walking into something that's gonna make your life really hard, you know?
How sexy, how rich you are.
Yeah.
These niggas outside.
They are outside.
So that's why you got to be outside.
You
boo.
do. Thank you so much. Yes, you look great.
Thank you,
Make
you
sure
too.
you call me so I can
That was a cute combo, huh?
come to your show.
I want you to.
Yeah,
Trent,
I'm
Trent,
gonna
my
come to your
assistant
show.
Trent will be in
Yeah.
touch with
Isn't that cute? I thought that we had really good energy, but I also just thought, wow, like what a bubble difference. I'm so glad we watched that together, and I'm glad that TikTok came up on my feed because I'm not in this bubble, so I don't follow these people, so I didn't have the way to get through. But I think they genuinely have some really good energy together, and I just love the way TS met her where she was and helped her. I think that was a really nice way to have the conversation, and I like the way that they said, you know, you talk kind of the way you talk on your own podcast, but then now you're here. Same thing. I might talk the way I am here in my home, in my place. But if I'm meeting you where you're at on your podcast or you're with me, if you're a guest, like I will approach you with kindness and compassion in a different way. But you know what I mean? Like transphobia, homophobia, biphobia, all the phobias happened. And yet there's a lot of deconstruction that I think even occurred here. Like we saw it in real time, right? What a beautiful thing to see. What a beautiful thing to witness.